Hey, is Eric there?
This is he.
Hey, Eric, this is RJ Bates calling you about your property there on Starbright Drive. How you doing?
All right.
All righty, I got you. You said you were looking to sell that property. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. How much you looking to get for it?
Well, I mean, I'd like to get 400,000 for it. I don't know if it's possible. I know that I could get that and then some, selling it by traditional ways. I just don't want to go through the hassle of that. And so then I started exploring cash offers, knowing that I'd get less, but at least that way I could just get my money and go, and then leave the house to be dealt with by whoever's buying it.
Gotcha. What's going on with the property?
That's a good question. So I entered into a contract with a company called Equity several months ago.
Okay.
And the idea was, the advantage supposedly with them was they only take 2%. And so the real estate agent here affiliated with them steered me that way, and everything sounded good. I was going to get my money, some of my money, up front, enough to buy a place, get the heck out of here, and then they would sell the house to the end buyer, and then I would get a secondary check once it was all closed and done for.
Right.
What I wasn't made aware of, at least not clearly, it was in the contract, but I just kind of missed that part, I guess, is that I would be responsible for selling it, not them, because they're only taking 2%, so basically they're just assuming the risk to front me some money, but I still have to sell it. So then I realized, wait a minute. So once I am out, and I've already sold the place, so a problem with, I still actually have to do all the work to sell it to the end buyer, not up equity. So then when I'm out of work, I still have to employ a real estate agent. I still have to keep up all the utilities. I still have to hire a maintenance guy for lawn and one for pool. And this was just sounding like way more work than I wanted to undertake.
Right.
Partially because I lost my wife of 44 years back in January, and I've been really struggling, and I don't want to stay in this house because she and I owned it for 36 years, and I do own it free and clear, by the way. There's no mortgage. So I was looking to get out, and originally Up Equity said, we'll just sell it as is, you don't have to do a thing. But then the market took a downturn, and my real estate agent said, well, yeah, if you want to get top dollar for it, we're going to have to put in new flooring and paint and new windows and new this and new that. It's like, golly, I'm not going to want to afford all that, because even if we do all those things, there's no guarantee that it'll sell for premium price.
Right.
And then I'll be out all that money. So those two things combined to steer me away from Up Equity, and then I went to Offerpad. And that all sounded fine and dandy, because they gave me what I felt was a fair price, $435,000, and then minus their 6% and minus roughly 1% for closing costs. I felt like I was going to pocket around $405. The only thing left was an inspection. Well, the inspection came back with lots of things that needed repair, and I expected that. I mean, it's an old house, but I wasn't expecting $35,000 to do all that. I figured maybe 10 or 15.
Right.
And so I don't know how honest they are being with me, because it says in my portal, in the frequently asked questions, that they don't make any money on the repairs. They just quote me a number that will get the work done so they can flip the place and make a premium dollar. Well, I negotiated them down to $30,000 from $35,000. But that begs the question: if it really cost $35,000 to make all those repairs, then how could you put padding in so that you could accept $30,000 and still do it? If I'd accepted the $35,000, then isn't that $5,000 more for you guys? It just seemed a little fishy to me. So I did sign it because I was in the midst of putting in an offer on a place up in southern Missouri where I'm going, and I needed to make sure that I had the money, even though it wasn't as much money as I had hoped for. Well, then I missed out on that place, and so now I'm kind of back to square one, and so now there's not the urgency that there was, and so now I'm kind of rethinking things and like, well, I saw your ad on Facebook, and you say you'll take care of repairs and closing costs and all of that, which means I'm sure that you can't offer me what they could,
right?
Given all of that. But
ours is just a little bit more straightforward. Instead of saying 435 and it ended up being 365, we just tell you up front it's 365. So ours is just a little bit easier to understand.
Right. Because originally it's like, 435 and then minus your fees, 6%. Okay. Is there anything else? Yeah, well, closing costs are going to be about 1%. Okay.
Yep.
And then I find out later, and you got to pay all your property taxes from January 1st until now because I don't have a mortgage, so I don't have any escrow. And so then there was that. And then, repairs have to be minus out. And, the number was way inflated to what I thought it would be. Now, maybe they're right. Maybe it really does cost that much to fix all those things. I don't know. It just seemed like a lot. And by the way, I've got the inspection report if you want to look it over.
That is beautiful. Yes. And here's the thing. I think I'm going to be pretty competitive to their number. But again, ours is, there are no realtor commissions. Okay. We do cover the closing cost. You will still cover the prorated taxes though. That is, that's the one thing. So but that comes out of the proceeds. So it's not like you have to write a check before closing. It just comes out of your proceeds.
I understand. I would not expect you to cover my property taxes.
Right. So it's pretty straightforward. The way that we work is I'm gonna, ask them I would love to see that inspection report. Send that over to me. That pretty much tells me everything I need to know. And then I can pretty much say, here's my number. We come out, we want to visibly be able to walk the property. Okay.
I would expect nothing less.
Right. And then, within 30 days, 25, 30 days, we close. That's it.
Okay.
So, here's the thing. There is a time and place for people like Open Door and Offerpad. I've actually sold properties to them before.
Okay.
But they can be misleading and the last time I tried to sell a property to them, they did the whole, hey, we'll give you $300,000. They came out, they said, yep, we're good to go. And they put me in a really bad place because I use private investors to fund my deals. So, like retired doctors, attorneys, people like that, right? And I go and I call my investor and I tell them, hey, property sold. We're good. You're going to have your money back in 2 weeks. They went out and did their final walkthrough and they terminated because something came up with the plumbing that they previously didn't catch. And man, that put me in a bad spot because now my investor's like, well, I already made plans because you said I was getting my money back. And, it can, they, listen, they're a big corporation, so they're just ruthless. There's no emotion, right? It's just like, sorry, best of luck with your house, and it's over. So, and it also, I don't mean to glaze over this part, but I'm sorry to hear about your wife's passing back in January.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been really rough, and so between that and then me having to try to do repairs on the place myself because I didn't want to hire somebody to do it. And I'm pretty handy. I can do most of those things. It's just a matter of having the time to do them. And plus, my wife, I wouldn't call her a hoarder, but she was a pack rat for sure. And so then there's tons and tons of stuff that I have to go through of hers and decide, okay, do I keep it? Do I toss it? Do I donate it? And I was getting down to the point where, dang, I haven't even started packing yet, and I still got so much to do. It just got to be so overwhelming. I just couldn't even function anymore.
Right.
So I just had to sell up equity. Sorry, I just can't do this. And then Offerpad sounded real good for a while, but they too are full of unpleasant surprises. And, I'm just tired of that.
Yeah.
Give me a number, and it's the final number, and I know that's the number I can count on, and you're not going to jack with me and go, oh, yeah, we forgot to tell you about this expense and that expense. That comes out, too, at the end.
Right.
Just give me a number, and then I'll say, yep, I can live with that number, or no, I can't.
I will tell you this without seeing the inspection report, but just based off some of the things that you've told me, and then also with my experience with understanding Offerpad's numbers and them saying 35,000 in repairs. What I am assuming is we're probably going to be in the mid threes. That's probably where we're going to land. But again, that's net to you minus prorated taxes. So that's probably where we're going to be. But if you want to email the inspection report over to me, and I can dive into it with my team today and call you back and say, Eric, here's the number. It's 350,000 or it's 360,000, whatever that number is. I'm not going to poke you in the eyeball. I'm going to make it as fair can be. And I could even break those numbers down to you so you can see. Normally, I'll just be honest with you. Normally, what we end up making on our side is about 10 to 12% of what we sell the property for. So if we turn around and we sell the property for $500,000, then we're probably going to make somewhere in the range of $50,000 to $60,000.
Well, good for you.
So, but that being said, that's a $400,000+ investment to make the $50,000. And so when I make that offer, it's like, for example, if I said 350 and I'm going to make 50, that's where I can't be at 4. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I make a fair offer off of it. Of course, it's going to be lower than what Offerpad is, but it's also maybe not going to be that much lower because we're not including all of those other fees and numbers associated with it.
Okay, well, then I will just tell you up front, I've already got the title company, I forget what they call it, the document they send out that says, okay, here's what we're anticipating closing costs to be.
Right.
And it goes right down the list and says all the things, and a couple of them are estimates, but most of them are right on. So I've got a pretty good idea, probably within $1,000 of what my final take with off be. And just so you know, it's still $373,000.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you probably can't match that.
Well, I don't know. I need to look at that inspection report and see. I'm making assumptions based off that $35,000 number, what that looks like.
Honestly, I don't think the place is in that bad a shape. Maybe I'm not that particular. I'm thinking that because they're planning to flip it, they're going to fix a whole bunch of things that don't really need fixing. They just need sprucing so that the place looks nicer, so that it sells for premium dollar.
Right.
That's my guess.
Let me ask you on the inspection report that they have, does it have pictures of the inside of the property?
Yep. Inside, outside. It was quite the extensive inspection. There's tons of stuff to look at and see. Yeah, and I'm not going to, there are issues for sure, but I mean, you can live in the house just fine. I mean, it's not like the floor is is sagging someplace or there are leaks in the ceiling or anything. But it does have some issues, no doubt. I will, that's on, I saved that inspection report to the hard drive of my desktop, so I won't be able to forward that to you until I get home. I'm at work right now. So it'll probably be like 2 o'clock-ish before I can get it to you.
Okay.
And then you guys go ahead and pour over it. And if you can match that offer, then great, let's do some business. If you can't, we'll part ways, no hard feelings.
Gotcha. So I just text you from my cell phone, my email address. And yeah, as soon as you get that to me, it won't take me too long to look at it, come up with my numbers and say, yep, this is what we can do. Okay?
Okay. Sounds like a plan, sir.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate your time.
You betcha. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, that's cool. All right. Back to calling. Yeah, he's definitely ready, for sure. And I like how you just kind of laid it out there. Like, here's what's going on.